Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of the 5 in 20 podcast by Remarkable Academic Foods. I'm your host, Joshua Miller, and today we have a very cool subject, at least it is for me. I hope it is for you, and that is barbecue in schools. School food service with barbecue. I mean, what else could you ask for? And who else to have on this other than an award-winning barbecue competitor, the founder of Smokin Barbecue Company. Tom, Christine, welcome. Thank you for coming in and taking the time while you're in Key West, Florida. I'm super jealous, but thank you for taking the time nonetheless to help educate our school food service people on barbecue.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I usually start the episode off with, what is your guilty pleasure food or snack? And if I had to guess, it's going to have something to do with barbecue, but is it? Or are you like sick of it? Do you have other foods that you go for? What is it?
No, you never get sick of barbecue. Never. So I got to say, ribs are probably my best thing from one of my favorites. Because,
nice.
You can do so much with them, Beef ribs, pork ribs, it doesn't matter. They're all just awesome.
Nice. And I have to say, coming in and with the name Smokin Barbecue Company, I can't keep my guests in for this episode. I don't know what will. Love the name, but why don't you tell us what's the story behind the company and how it got started?
Sure. So I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm a mechanic by trade, auto mechanic. And my kids bought me a smoker about 30 years ago. They bought it for me for Father's Day. And I started playing in the backyard. And, of course, that was before the internet like we know it today. Yeah. So I'm out there playing, and back in 30 years ago, I hate to say this, and I really don't want to say it out loud too much, but we were actually boiling the ribs back then because we didn't know any better.
Oh.
Yeah. So, like I said, the internet was just getting started, so I'm playing and checking every night when I go home. I'm checking for different recipes and stuff, and I find out that, hey, you know what? You really don't know what you're doing. So I kind of taught myself watching stuff on the internet on how to cook barbecue, how to do ribs, how to do pork, and it just took off from there. Just every year at my house, we had a big party where we'd have all the friends over, and we called it the luau. We did it in August every year, and we would have up to 60, 70 guests, and I'd cook for 2 days before it started. And my wife had seen on the in a newspaper that they were having a barbecue cook-off down in Ocean City, New Jersey. So we decided we'd take a run down and see what that was like. And as we pulled up and get out of the car, we see all these big setups and big trailers and signage, and these guys are cooking and selling food to the public. She looked at me, she's going, "You can't cook with these guys." I said, "Well, let's take a look. Let's walk through, see what we got." So as we're walking through, as we went through past where the guys were selling the food and got to the back, that's where all the competitors were. They had 25 teams there. And they were all small guys like me. So they had their small setups, and they had their smoker setup and little 10 by 10 tents and, tables and stuff. And everybody stopped and talked to you, stopped what they were doing, talked to you. It was awesome. It was just when you just got a great feeling like you were at home talking to your family with these people. It was great. So the following year, I cooked in that cook-off. It was awesome, and that was it, man. From there, we were hooked. So we started traveling around doing the cook-offs. I did that for about 3 or 4 years, and my son went to culinary school. So he comes home from culinary school, and he comes out with us. He says, "Dad, we could probably sell food at these things if you build a trailer." So I said, "All right, I'll build us a trailer." So I built us a log cabin trailer, put a smoker in it, and we started. And for 11 years, we traveled up and down the East Coast doing big barbecue shows. And we were doing, it was awesome. So we would start out on Monday. We start, get everything ready. We cook the food and stuff off that we were going to be selling at the shows. We get everything chilled, and in the truck, we had a refrigerated truck, and we take it out. We set up the tent, and we also were competing at the same time. So I'd be doing the competing, he'd be doing the cooking, and my wife and my relatives and stuff would be there. They'd be selling the food. And it was just a fun time.
Sounds amazing.
We did great. So we competed for I guess close to 15 years total. My son still competes. He only does 2 a year now because he's so busy with his business. But we've won all kinds of awards. We were the Pennsylvania State champion for a couple of years. Like I said, we have all kinds of trophies and stuff that we've won over the years, and we ended up opening up a restaurant. We did a restaurant, barbecue restaurant. Um, my son ran that. I still have my auto repair business, so I'd be over and helping him at nighttime and on the weekends and stuff. And we had the first restaurant. We built that one. It was an old building that had been closed up for 10 years. We went in and renovated it. I made it look like a log cabin, and we outgrew it in a year, and we found a second place that we built. That was uh, an abandoned gas station that we had taken, and I redid that one. That was even bigger, and we were there. Well, we just sold. We actually opened it as a restaurant. We did a restaurant in there for almost 10 years, and then we started producing barbecue for stores and restaurants. We opened a barbecue plant, meat
What?
processing plant. We had a USDA kitchen, and we were doing, we were doing 25,000 pounds of pork a week for other people. Man.
What?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
That is
So,
something you don't do unless you're passionate about, for sure.
once you get it and it gets into your skin, man, it's crazy the things you can do.
I bet.
so,
I bet.
yeah, I started selling barbecue equipment about 20 years ago. I started off working with the Amish up in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
Nice. I
I
like
took
that area.
I took on their line, Meadow Creek, and we're family. I mean, like I said, we've been with them for 20 years, and I became the distributor for Southern Pride about 10 years ago. A friend of mine was the distributor. He was over in New Jersey, and we became friends. I was doing all his service work on the smokers because that's what I do. I'm a mechanic, so fixing the stuff was easy for me. So I was fixing all his stuff, and he called me up one day and said, "Hey, listen," he says, he was getting sick. He was older. He says, "Listen," he said, "I need you to give those folks a call at Southern Pride." He said, "Because I'm not going to be able to do this much longer."
Mm.
So I called. I went down and met with them down in Tennessee, and 2 weeks later they called me up and said, "Hey, we want you to come on board." So they started me off with New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and within 6 months, I had they gave me Maryland and Delaware, and now I go from Maine to Virginia. I have the whole East Coast. So
Wow.
yeah, so I do a lot of traveling. We have a barbecue supply store now. We don't have a restaurant anymore. We sold the restaurant off. I sold the meat processing end of the business. I sold last year, and
Mm.
now we have just a store. My son took the catering end of the business, and him and his wife they're running that. And I'm getting ready to retire. I'm going to retire probably in another 6 to 8 months, and
Nice.
I'll still do the Southern Pride. I'm going to help the guy that's buying the place from me. He's a real good friend. So I'll help him out by doing his sales and his service work on a Southern Price for him. So yeah,
Love
so
it.
that's pretty much
Love
it.
it. And
Yeah.
I visited your website, by the way. I'm definitely going to be buying some stuff from there. I feel
Yeah,
like a kid in a candy store. I'm
it's
probably gonna be a
crazy.
loyal customer for life.
Yeah, once we opened the store, we decided to. We know everybody in the competition circuit. They all know me. I've been doing it for a long time. We're all
Yeah.
friends. So we decided that when we opened the store that we would start doing meats. So we
Yeah.
brought in all specialty meats. I sell the Wagyu briskets and the Duroc pork for all the competition guys. And then we brought in wild game. We have all kinds of wild game meats. We have alligator, wild boar, ostrich, kangaroo.
Of
So we have a
course.
bunch of different meats and stuff that you can't get anywhere else. So
And
yeah,
spices and sauces and all
yeah,
that.
oh yeah, and of course all kinds of grills and smokers. Yeah, it's
Nice.
fun. It's just a fun thing.
Love it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Southern Pride smokers, they definitely have a long history of
Yes.
being, top level smokers. So what sets Southern Pride smokers apart from other commercial smokers?
Well, once again, that's a family. It was a father and son that started the business back in the
Hmm.
'70s. They've been around. They've been around a pretty long time,
Hmm.
and they make the Cadillac end of commercial smokers. They're all stainless steel inside and out, real easy to
Hmm.
keep clean, which is really important if you want your quality of food to stay good. You
Yeah.
see a lot of these guys, and you go in and their smokers are dirty, and they tell you that the smokers are seasoned, and it's like, and I tell them all the time. I said, listen. My seasoning comes in a shaker bottle. It's not inside my smoker. But I said, you're putting the meat in there, and your seasoning's supposed to be the wood that you're smoking with, not the dirt and stuff that you left in there. Come on.
Oh
So
my goodness.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So we take pride in the fact that I can. I can take a smoker and sell it to you today, and
Yep.
you can use it every day of the week. I have smokers in my meat processing business, Southern Fried Smokers, that are over
Uh-huh.
30 years old that look like the day they came out of the showroom. So yeah,
Wow.
it's that easy to take care of them. It really is.
Love it.
And maintenance wise, the smokers that they make today, they're just so easy to work on. There's not a whole lot to them as far as the mechanical stuff to break down, and as far as the easy to use smokers, they came out with the SRG stationary rack smoker, a 400 pounder.
hmm
That means it holds 400 pounds of raw pork at one time. So that is the most popular smoker that we sell now. It's real easy to work on. It's easy to keep clean. It's easy to maintain, and anybody can run it. It's programmable, so if you put it into an environment, let's say a restaurant environment that's a real busy place, the
hmm
chef can take his time and program all his menus into it. So you can walk over, you can load the smoker. Let's say you're doing briskets tonight. You load
Uh-huh.
the smoker with briskets. You walk over to the smoker. You put a piece of wood in. You hit auto, whatever you have. It has 30 programs. So auto, let's say number one is brisket. So it's auto one start and walk away. It's already set for the temp and the time. Come in
Love
in the
it.
mo- come in the morning. It'll automatically. So let's say briskets, for example, take 10 to 12 hours, okay, of time.
hmm
So what you do is you set your time for the smoker and the temperature, and you set the hold temp. So what happens is after it gets done cooking this 12 hours, it'll go into the hold mode and it'll cut the smoker back to 140 degrees, which is usually the temp that you set it at, and it'll
Yeah.
hold that till you come in and get it in the morning. So you can cook overnight, not have to worry about being there at 3 o'clock in the morning to maintain anything. You come in at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. It's in the hold mode. You pull the meats, you wrap them, you get your meats on for lunch. It's
Yeah,
that
I
simple.
think everyone would appreciate that. It's easy to take
Yeah.
care of and it's easy to operate.
Yes, sir.
So now there's a world of different models out there. So that's the easiest one to operate. What type of smoker would be the hardest for
Well,
people
it's
to
not.
operate?
It's not that it's hard to operate. It's just you have to have somebody dedicated because
hmm
once you go up past the 300, the SC 300 and the
hmm
SRG 400 are stationary rack smokers. Okay,
hmm
that means you open the door, you slide the rack out, you put the food on, you slide it back in again, you close the door, and you go. You put the wood in the firebox and you set the controls and go. From that point on, now we're into a rotisserie. Okay.
hmm
So you have to have somebody dedicated that's going to load the smoker properly because it has to be. Think of think of loading a Ferris wheel. Okay. Me remember going on a
Yep.
Ferris wheel when you were a kid. So
Yep.
somebody would get on and then they'd skip a car or two, then they put you on, then they skip. So what they're doing is they're balancing the load out on the Ferris wheel. It's the same exact thing in the smoker. It has to be
Okay.
balanced properly so it doesn't balance itself out and drop the meat on the inside the smoker or anything like that. So with that being said, yeah, that's the hard part of the smoker. But if you have somebody dedicated, it's not hard at all. We have guys out there that are running 1,600 pound smokers. That's what we had in our we
What?
have it in, yeah. So in my meat processing plant, I had three of those, dude. I could do 8,000 pounds of pork in one burn.
I can't even wrap my head around
Yeah,
60.
it's crazy. It's
That is
crazy.
a
Yeah.
lot of meat.
Yeah.
So, are there options out there for schools with, let's say, limited space in terms of getting a smoker or maybe limited ability to get the smoke out of the building? What
Well,
options do they have?
okay, so all the smokers that we have, every
hmm
one, either goes under a hood in, let's say, where your line of cooking equipment would be, it would
Yep.
go in next to it. That would be the SC 300 or the SRG 400. Once you
Yep.
get into the rotisserie smokers, they really have to have their own hood, or you can direct vent them. So
Mm.
they put a what they call a smoke extractor up on the top, and they pipe that out through your roof or out back through a wall, and that gets piped out of the building so that when you have the food cooking and smoking inside, if you want to go in the smoker and open the doors, you just push the button for the smoke extractor. That opens, the fan comes on at the other end and pulls all the smoke out of the smoker before you open the doors. And that keeps the smoke out of your building.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you can put a smoker almost anywhere.
Oh yeah, I'm putting them on in food trucks. I'm putting them on trailers, on the back of trailers, on the porches. So yeah, I can put it just about anywhere. All of our smokers are rated for being outside, so you don't have to
Okay.
worry about that. We put them on trailers. You can buy a mobile smoker from us on a trailer.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're really versatile. They really are.
Yeah, and that's a good point because food trucks are a big thing with schools, K-12 and colleges and universities. But I
Sure,
think one thing that people are missing opportunity on that's a lower cost investment would be smokers, and I know that they make them mounted on trailers already. So that's a good option for schools
no
that
doubt
want
about it.
that versatility and the easy portability of bringing the food to a different location for that show effect.
Right. Plus,
And you say you've worked with K-12 schools with selling them smokers
oh
too,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah, sure. I have a lot of well, all kinds of schools. I have universities. I've Geez, I have technical schools that are buying them and putting it in their food programs. So when they're
What?
teaching it, because you got to, barbecue is another thing. You got Italian, you got Chinese, you have barbecue. It's just
Yeah,
another venue. So yeah, why wouldn't you put that in a school? Think about that, in a cooking program. We're showing you how to cook barbecue. So how many barbecue restaurants do you know that are out there? You know what I mean? Just think about
yeah,
that. There's a lot. So
exactly.
yeah, and then of course everybody now barbecue on the East Coast anyway is it's still in its infancy, really, if you think about it. So you have a
Mm.
lot of guys that are doing add-ons. You got a pizza guy that's putting a smoker in so he can put smoked meats on top of his pizza. So he'll buy the small smoker and put that in place. And the next thing you know, he's doing kibasi. And you got to remember, man, smoked meats. You see all the smoked meats out there. That's what you do in a smoker. Smoked cheeses. I have a
Yeah.
lady that has a SRG 400 right now that
Uh
does
huh.
pie. She does pies in it because it's
What?
not. Yeah, it's
I
not.
never
Think
would have
about
guessed that. Never would
it.
have guessed it.
You don't have to put wood in it. You really don't. And it's nothing but a big convection oven if you think about it.
Okay, true,
So
true,
yeah,
very true, fair,
yeah,
fair enough.
pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. And
yeah.
so I feel like the mark that a lot of people miss when they're trying to do barbecue and school food service settings is the flavor of the sauce, the seasonings. Are you selling that? I know you sell it on your website. Do you have
Oh yeah,
schools or commercial people buying those
sure.
bulk seasonings from you?
Yep,
I love it.
we have three different seasonings sold by Southern Pride, and we have sauces.
Yeah,
Plus in my store I have. You tell me what you're looking for, what flavor profile, I can hook you up with that, and I can show you how to make it. I mean, I've been doing it for years, so I can show you how to make rubs. I can show you how to make sauces. I love going into a school and working with the culinary chefs because it's fun. They're, got to remember they're new to
yeah.
it also. So for me to walk in there and start showing them stuff, and they're going, "Boy, I had no idea we could do that." I didn't know we could do that. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun.
I love it. I love it. And what's some of the craziest things besides the pies that you've seen smoked? I've seen I think it was a few years ago, there was this big thing about smoking watermelons and that caught wind for a while on social
Well,
media.
okay, so you get into, there's a lot of high end chefs out there now, okay?
Yeah.
And they're on TV and they're all doing all different things. Well, they're looking for all kinds of stuff to do in a smoker just to make it different.
Yeah.
So yeah, just go on the internet and put in smoked meats and see what pops up. It's crazy what's out there. Geez, I have an Amish guy that bought a smoker from me
Hmm.
and he has never turned the burner on, okay? And he does now, it's a big smoker. This is a 700-pound meat smoker. So think about how many blocks of cheese you can get in that thing. And that's what he does. He's a big cheese producer, and
Oh wow.
he uses what they call smoke sticks. So it's a big long metal tube that you fill with wood pellets, and
Uh-huh.
you light it with a torch, and he puts them in the firebox. Okay, so he doesn't need the burner because he's doing cold smoking. So he's cold smoking
Nice.
the cheese. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, yeah.
And versatility, I know some people might be saying, yeah, but we have, I'm sure you're well aware of it. Vegetarians and vegans are becoming more and more prominent. I've
Sure.
seen vegetables, I've seen tofu smoked in there, so don't count that out. You can still have fun with that. You might have barbecue ribs on the menu on Monday, but maybe on Wednesday you do some vegetarian option
Oh
or
yeah.
vegan option if another
Well,
smoke is on it.
well, when it comes to the vegetarian stuff, okay, like you said, now you're putting a whole different spin on the vegetables because who's smoking vegetables? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? There's not a whole lot of guys doing that now.
exactly.
Now you have something. You have another avenue, and So, and also you have a lot of vegetarians that don't want meat anywhere near their food. Well, that's what's
Yeah,
nice about cooking in that kind of a smoker. You can divide all the. You don't have to put meat in there. You don't have to. You
yeah,
don't have to worry about like in an oven or something like that in a restaurant. These
hmm
smokers they're smoked. They're clean daily. So they're back to brand new stainless steel. They're using stainless steel racks. You don't have to worry about cross contamination or anything like that. So it's pretty awesome.
yeah, it is. All right, awesome. So, one closing question I have for you is, what advice would you give for any chefs or any school leaders that are out there thinking about investing in a commercial smoker? What advice do you have for them?
Do your homework. Do your homework. You know what the budget is that they're allowing you to work with. Go on the internet, get as much information as you can. Don't be afraid to ask. You know, and any of us barbecue guys, any of us will give you straight out answers. Nobody's going to, hey, yeah, you want to buy this? No, it's not going to be like that at all. We're going to tell you the pros and the cons. You call me tomorrow and say, hey, look, I'm thinking about buying a cook shack. What do you think about that? Well, tell me what you want to do with it.
Uh-huh.
If you're talking about cooking food
hmm
at home, or you're cooking food for a small restaurant, nothing wrong with a cook shack at all. Okay, it's just that it's not convection like ours. They don't have convection fans and stuff in them. It's
mm
just different.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, and what's nice is when you go to a place, you can deal with a guy like me that's selling different things, different items. You can see,
hmm
you can come and we can show you different items. Oh yeah, well, thinking about this. Can you show me the difference between this and this? Yeah, I could do that. Or
Love
I
it.
can send you somewhere. Like I said, being in this business, you get to know everybody. I can call somebody that has the smoker that you're thinking about. You can go over and talk with them. They can show you how it's working in a restaurant.
Love it. And
Yeah.
so, where can people go to find out more about Smoking Dudes Barbecue Company or connect with you or your family in this
Well,
awesome barbecue store?
if you just pop onto our website, which is www.smokingdudesbbq.com, that's SMOKENDUDES BBQ.com, and you can get a hold of us.
Perfect. And, I call everyone that is involved in the school food service landscape, whether they're internal or external, you've contributed to a lot of school food service programs. So thank you for what you've done
Okay.
for helping to nourish our kids. I call all of you, all of us, we're all remarkable academic food ambassadors. So thank you
Awesome.
for everything you've done and are continuing to do and spreading word, including coming on this podcast. And audience, if you did not love this episode, I don't know what's wrong with you. This is probably I'm
The only
kind of a
thing,
little bit of a barbecue nerd
yeah,
myself.
the only thing we're missing, buddy, is cooking is some food right now.
Yeah, exactly,
If I was a little
exactly.
closer, I'd hook you up.
So, everyone, thank you for tuning in for another episode of the 5 and 20 podcast by Remarkable Academic Foods. I'm your host, Joshua Miller, and our guest here, Tom. Until next time, for me, signing off.